our stuff. So, which means inside, which is book.
Hospital.
Right.
Square. Chair. Desk.
Desk, yes, square is desk,
Business.
is chair.
Poster.
Why?
Potato.
Right.
Potato.
Right.
Bread.
Bread, right.
Avocado. Items.
Right. Yeah, so to or until. Right, Mokuyobi is Thursday, and then
Golden day.
yep, Kinyobi is Friday, Golden Day, and look what turned up. Right, and,
Where? Above or on?
right,
Matsu. Machimasu.
right, which is to wait, yes, matsu is to wait. And you'll note that the person you're waiting for is the direct object. So if you're waiting for your friend, tomodachi o machimasu.
Should we translate it to wait for, or to await something or someone?
Yeah, well, if you want to translate it as await, that works too, but, you know, in modern American English, it's more common to say, I'm waiting for my friend, not I'm awaiting my friend. Yeah, time of something, when something's happening. So, for example, kodomo no toki would be when,
Childhood.
when I was a child or during childhood, right? Kodomo no toki. Which, yes, the right side. Migi
Ichigatsu.
is January, yeah. Yeah, kaku,
Keep thinking it's
kakimasu.
S. Stupid Romanji.
Kaku, kakimasu is
Right. To right.
to write, yes. Kaku, kakimasu is to write. Okay. Kaimono is shopping, yes, it is shopping. Kaimono. Yeah.
That's the
Restaurant.
Yep, restaurant.
Put that on.
Right, which is,
To get up.
nope,
No.
hotera.
It's a temple.
It's a temple, yes. You're thinking of okiru. This is otera.
So it's about, is an approximate measurement.
Yes, so for example, ichiji kan gurai, about 1 hour. Okay. 30 day is alone. Wednesday, yes. What day? And this one is, which is Tuesday, fire day. And this one is
Toyobi.
Saturday. Okay. I don't know why Kayobi for Tuesday, it just is.
Do they have like witchcraft there?
That might
Chip.
not have been it, no.
No, it has nothing to do with that. The elements of Chinese medicine are usually represented by ka, fire, sui, water, moku, wood, kin, metal in this case, and do, soil or earth. Those are like 5 elements in the ancient Chinese medicine cosmology, sort of.
I wonder
And
if
so
there's
I think that's where they got it from. Why they assigned particular ones to particular days, I don't know, unless that's just the traditional order they normally go in. That that could be. They could have just had, because they often show them in a circle, but I don't really recall what order they put them in when they put them in a circle, so they might have just kind of gone around the circle with it. And
That would
say,
make more
okay,
sense.
yeah, and then Sunday and Monday, they just translated from English basically. Nichiobi, Sunday,
Yeah.
and Getsuyobi, Moon Day. That's the origins of the words in English anyway. So, but the rest of them, I mean, in
Maybe they were-
English, they're named after Norse gods, which has no connection to Japanese culture. So I think they just used the Chinese elements because
See,
they
I didn't
had
even know
5 days
that.
left.
But American.
Okay.
Maybe it went to some kind of process, like making a sword or something, like, I don't know.
Oh, for why the elements go in that particular order?
Maybe.
Who knows? Yeah. Iru
Yes.
is imas, there is for living animate objects, yeah, people and animals. So stays in, is at, stays at, lives, something like that.
One hour.
1 hour, yes.
Depato.
Department store.
Kai, good place to go, kaimono. Right? Gohan, meal or cooked rice. Daddy is left.
They should point at me like,
Yeah,
what
no,
did I
he
do?
was just holding his hand
You're on
out.
my left.
I was
Showing his left hand.
I was like, I didn't think we learned human.
Shashin means
Picture,
picture, photograph, and
Toru.
toru is the
Torimasu.
torimas to take.
Tori.
Shashin o
Oh,
torimas.
torimasu.
Yeah, if you say shashin wa torimas, it sounds like you're saying that the picture is taking something. But usually it's a human taking the picture, right? So shashin o toru. Shashin o torimas. Yeah, makes more sense that way.
So if someone was taking a picture, you'd use a different verb?
Yes, yeah, if somebody's like snagging it from you, that's different from snapping a picture.
Oh,
Yeah, which people don't even talk about snapping one anymore very often because that little clicking noise that was part of physical cameras is like an optional sound on your
You don't
phone.
need it.
You don't have to have it
We
anymore.
don't even have
It's
it.
annoying when it
It's
goes
annoying
off
now.
by
It's like,
itself. Right.
everyone's like, nope, silence.
Yeah, silence that annoying little noise. But they make it sound a little bit like the old fashioned, when people used to use physical
That's so
Cameras.
kids know what they mean when they say the
Click.
click it. or
click,
something.
yeah. Yeah,
A letter, like a paper letter.
yeah, tegami for letter. Hey, what's this one?
Daida. So,
It's in between something.
Yes, in between, very good. Yep, Kinyobi is Friday, right? Yes, Mizu, water, right? Under, below.
Suyobi.
Tsuyobi, yes. Yeah, you gotta pay attention to how many squiggles in which directions. Yeah, right.
Mine.
Is in front or across from sometimes.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Colon. Public park.
Yes.
Near, nearby.
Yep, nearby. Chikaku.
Arimas.
And, oh, and arimas corresponds to
There
what?
is.
There is for
Inanimate object.
inanimate objects, so like, juice ga arimasu. Yeah, any sort of generic, non-soda type drink that might have some sort of fruit flavoring in it somewhere is juice in Japanese. doesn't have to be,
Non-discriminatory.
yeah, it could be like 10% actual fruit, and it's still called juice.
What about a robot, are they in it?
That's one of those ambiguous ones that I'm not really sure. You probably need to talk to some native speakers, and I think it would depend on a lot of factors. I mean, it would be really interesting to see something like Big Hero 6 in Japanese and see what they do with talking about Baymax, because he's more personable in the movie. So maybe they talk about him with Iru because he seems almost human, but on the other hand, you know, a robot that's just a mechanical arm building a piece of a car, I doubt that they use Iru to talk about that. I'm sure that's.
What about the one in Iron Man, where it's like a lot, kind of
See, that's one of those things that I'm not really sure of.
Oh, yeah, AI.
But- Yeah, when you start getting into AI, that's a gray area, because Japanese,
They're trying to figure out AI.
yeah.
They're
But-
the ones that are actually leading the whole like
Yeah,
scientific
but
field
that,
on the AI.
as far as the linguistics of it, I'm
Yeah.
not really sure what they do these days. Because I do know that even when you're talking about like a car driving down the highway, normally a car is obviously arimasu, right? Kuruma ga arimasu. But if you're talking about, you know, the car that just cut you off in traffic or something, Iru does get used in that case because although you might be saying the word kuruma in your sentence, we're really not just talking about the car itself,
About
we're
the
talking about
driver.
the driver and what the driver did. So the verb changes because of the fact that you've got a person in there that's causing the action.
Human action.
What with those
Yeah.
self-driving cars then?
Yeah, see, there again, I don't know what's gonna happen with that, because, well, are you even gonna know when a car is moving down the highway? Are you even gonna know if it's a self-driving car or not in the future? You know, who knows how those are gonna work, right? Because there's still a person in there somewhere, otherwise why would it be bothering to drive, right? Unless it's like Enterprise, we'll pick you up. That's scary, right? Driverless car showing up to pick you
All of
up.
a sudden you look to the side and there's no one there.
That's a little creepy. So I don't know. But that's one of those things that's why it's good to like get on one of those, you know, like there are text, like WhatsApp type programs that you can join where you find Japanese friends to communicate with via text or whatever. And it's good to get on one of those and find a few Japanese friends, and then you can ask them these questions, you know, because usually they're like language exchange deals. The idea is that you get on there, you let people know that your native language is English and you're learning Japanese, and then somebody whose native language is Japanese and they're learning English will say, okay, let's help each other. And you text back and forth and you ask each other questions and you practice your Japanese on them and they practice their English on you, and you help them correct their grammar and answer their questions, and they help you correct your grammar and answer your questions. And sometimes you have to say, please stop the flood of kanji, I can't read that much kanji yet, but
Spell
but,
everything out for me.
yeah, spell everything out in hiragana for me and teach me like elementary school kanji, you know. But, yeah, so that's something for all of you to consider getting on. I know that some of the level 2 and 3 people are involved with stuff like that, so you can always ask them what apps they like for that stuff, because I know some of them are on, there are opportunities like that on Skype, on WhatsApp, and then there are more formally organized ones that are actually made specifically for language exchange partners. And you just, you know, I'm pretty sure that it is like Facebook or whatever, where you can block somebody that you don't want to keep communicating with. So if somebody starts getting creepy, you can just block that person and try for somebody else. You know, because there are just like in every other venue, there are guys who are just in it to see how many girls they can meet. And if that's not what you want, then you don't have to play along with that. So anyway,
Dog.
yeah, Inu is a puppy dog, yes.
Oh, Inuyasha.
Yeah, Inuyasha, yeah,
Oh my gosh, I just
light
got
bulb
that.
moment, huh?
He's half dog demon, so
Yeah, and also if you've heard of Shiba Inu,
Yes.
yeah, Shiba Inu is a breed of Japanese dog.
But why would they call it Shiba dog? That's like,
Why do we call it German Shepherd dog?
Or
You
we
know.
call it spotted dog.
Yeah, we don't
Big
do
dog.
that.
no, but like Shiba Inu. But that's
Yeah.
like inside the name.
Well, yeah, it's part of the name in Japanese, which they don't call it Shiba Inu dog, they just call it Shiba Inu, so it's not
But when you
redundant for them.
translate it.
Yeah,
it's like-
Americans call it Shiba Inu dog, which is really redundant.
Well,
I've never heard somebody say dog.
Oh, okay.
I hear Shiba Inu.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then maybe they're being more careful
Well,
than
what
that.
does Shiba mean?
The Shiba, I believe,
place.
is like
Yeah,
a
but that's the
location.
city.
Yeah, 'cause we call dogs Alsatians, but we don't say, we sometimes say we Alsatian dogs, or we just say
Yeah.
Alsatians.
I'm pretty sure Shiba is like a region of,
It's prefecture, isn't it?
I think it's, well, it's not Chiba, that's a
Oh,
different
different one.
prefecture, but I think Shiba might also be a place, I wanna say somewhere in southern Japan, but I don't know for sure. Although actually, I think Shiba Inu are more of a northern breed, so maybe it's up in,
They have
Tohoku
like
somewhere.
the warmer coat.
yeah, they have a thick
They're fluffy.
coat.
They're
Yeah,
fluffy. I
yeah,
know.
they are
They're
cute, aren't they?
cute.
So anyway,
Senshu.
Senshu,
The last weekend.
last week, yeah, Senshu.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Shumatsu is weekend.
Oh.
Senshumatsu would be last weekend. You can actually combine them like that. Right, right. Basate is a bus stop. Right. And also with. Yeah, and or with. It doesn't mean or, but it can mean and it can also mean with, depending on the context. Nihon
Yeah.
means Japan, right?
On.
With, on, or above. So it can mean, yeah. So like, tsukue no ue desu, it's on the desk. Tsukue no ue desu, it's above the desk. It's context dependent. It can mean either one of those. Okay. Right, Getsuyobi is Monday.
You did?
Alone, right? Nichiyobi, Sunday, right? Getsuyobi, Monday. Sorry, right? Meru, email, right?
Class.
Class, right? Kaksan, a lot, right? Souvenir, right?
Well,
Kodomo is child, right?
Ao. Aimas.
Right, ao aimasu,
To meet a
to
person.
meet a person, yeah, so tomodachi ni aimasu. Right? Oops.
Kao. Kaimas.
Kaimasu. This is the one to buy, yes. Yeah, kao and, what was the other one? Kaku.
Yeah, kaku.
Yeah, they both start with ka, but, yeah, kao is to buy, kaimasu. Okay, and this one is, kaku is to write, yes. Tonari,
Means next to.
yes, next to or neighbor. Think tonari no Totoro. Next door neighbor Totoro.
I think that Todai Totoro.
Tonari, yeah. Jikan is the number of hours, yes. So sanjikan would be 3 hours, jujikan would be 10 hours, and so forth. Right. You, pronoun you, right?
From.
From, right?
Arubaito.
Part-time job, right?
Sanjihan.
Right. 3:30,はい。
で、
cat, はい。
Japanese
person, はい。town, はい。supermarket, はい。There you go. だから is therefore, はい。本屋 is a bookstore. Inside, はい。below, and Koyobi is Tuesday, はい。Okay, are we getting more comfortable with the vocab in general, everybody? はい。じゃあ、let's drop one. Okay, so we got a little bit behind compared to the afternoon class again, so we need to get moving on some of these. Okay, so we are up to part 3.
Where's your book?
Yeah. So, sensei wa daigakusei deshita. So we're working with past tense of des. So before we start applying it, we need to remember. Okay, so positive, negative, present, past. Okay, so this is important. Okay, so present positive of des is des, exactly, right? Okay, and for now we mostly know how to do noun plus des, but there are 2 classes of adjectives in Japanese, and adjectives can also take des, and we will learn how to conjugate those at the beginning of 2nd semester. And of the 2 types of adjectives that exist, one type follows the exact same pattern as nouns. So while we're learning this, we're also getting like a preview of how to deal with half the adjectives in the language. Okay, so that's useful to know. Okay, so des is present positive. Present negative is not, would be, there you go. Remember that now? Ja-nai des. Okay, and that's very important, and we're going to come back to that in a minute. Okay, now past tense positive is what we're learning, which is, anybody? Deshita, there you go. Okay, past tense negative combines an element of this with a past tense structure that we haven't really talked about yet, and that is, anybody?
Something sun? Was it all sun?
No.
Okay.
See the E in the janai, janai des? The E is the one piece that changes to something else. The rest of this stays the same. So what you actually get is my color coding. So the negative past tense is janakatta desu. Okay, so to give this English meanings, des is like is, right? Janai desu is like is not, right? Deshita would be was, and janakatta desu would be was not. Okay, so sometimes it helps to give the specific English definitions for all 4 conjugations, because sometimes people get confused about what they're converting it to. So janakatta desu, this conversion, taking the e out and replacing it with katta, is something that is going to work across the board with noun and adjective conjugations. Okay, the i changing to katta. So, whether it's omoshiroku nai desu, omoshiroku nakatta desu, or whether it's kirei janai desu, kirei janakatta desu. That one conversion from negative to past negative, the i to katta stays consistent. Other parts of this conjugation are going to be different for some adjectives, but this particular part stays consistent. Okay, so we're learning it first with des. It's going to be true for nouns plus des, non-adjectives plus des, and e-adjectives plus des. This one piece, okay? Like I said, this part is going to be different for one kind of adjective and the other kind of adjective, okay? But this one particular piece that I put in green crosses those boundaries, so that's very useful to know, okay? So when we're talking about section 3, what we're actually practicing here is they've given us some information in English about Yamashita Sensei's past, right? What he was like 25 years ago. So 25 years ago, he was 22 years old, a senior at a college, a good student, and majoring in Japanese history. Okay? Those were some facts about this character from 25 years ago, okay? So all of the questions are based on that scenario that we're asking, was he XYZ 25 years ago? And if the answer is yes, then you're going to use a positive answer. If the answer is no, they want you to use the negative, janakatta desu. No, he was not that. Make
They're all
sense?
yes or no questions.
So they're all yes or no questions, and they want you to answer with hai, blah blah deshita, or ie, blah blah janakatta desu. Make sense? Okay. So let's have a couple people read the examples, and then we'll do the question. So who wants to read the first example? Hi, Sata-san to Sierra-san.
Yamashita Sensei wa daigaku sei
There you go. Say,
deshitaka.
hi. Yamashita Sensei wa daigakusei deshita ka? Was he a college student?
Oh,
And
that's
that's what it's asking.
Deshitaka.
Was deshita ka?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hi, Yamashita Sensei wa daigakusei
Hi, daigakusei deshita. Make sense? So it's asking, was he a college student?
Yes.
Yes, he was. Okay, so let's let Sierra-san to Andrea-san do the next example.
Yamashita Sensei wa 19歳でしたか。
はい。19歳でしたか？
山下先生は19歳じゃないでした。
じゃな
じゃなかでした。
じゃな read what's there. じゃな
じゃなかったです。
はい、じゃなかったです. So that's very important to note. Simple past positive is deshita, but it doesn't convert. There's no deshita over here. Okay? じゃなかったです. The katta part makes it past tense. Putting this into deshita would make it like double past tense. There's no such thing. Okay? So that's what everybody always wants to do. It's like an instinct almost. Everybody wants to end this one with deshita, but it doesn't work that way. Okay? So you kind of have to resist that impulse and change it to janakatta desu. Make sense? Okay. So now it's Andreas-san's turn to do ichiban, and Avery's going to answer.
山下先生は子供でしたか。
いや、 山下先生はコロのじゃなかったです
There you go. 子供じゃなかったです。Excellent. Okay. じゃあ2番どうぞ。
山下先生は1年生でしたか
でしたか？
いいえ、山下先生は1年生じゃなかったです。
じゃなかったです。
じゃなかったです。
はい。じゃあ3番どうぞ。
山下先生はいい学生でしたか？
はい、山下先生はいい学生でした。
はい. Notice it was a positive answer, so you're back to deshita, right? And notice that because you've got an adjective modifying a noun, and the noun is last, you're still conjugating it as a noun phrase. Okay, the conjugations of adjectives only happen when the adjective is in the verb position, the predicate position. Okay, じゃあ、松村さん。
山下先生の専攻は英語でしたか？
いいえ、山下先生の専攻は英語じゃなかったです
There you go. 英語じゃなかったです。Okay, じゃあ5番, you're asking for the last one.
山下先生の専攻は歴史ですでしたか
What is Rikishi?
Rikishi is, who knows?
I think it's history.
History, yes.
いえ、山下先生の日本
No, 専攻.
Oh. 専
You're changing this part to
Oh.
the negative.
oh was
Was his major history is what it's asking.
oh yeah it was how did
You
you
say, and then you change that to deshtaka.
Nihon wouldn't it be
Well, his
No.
major was Japanese history, so you could actually say yes to this question. Was his major history? Yes, it was
Oh.
Japanese history.
Okay. Okay. はい山下先生の
専攻.
専攻は歴史
歴史
歴史でした
はい、歴史でした. Or you could change it a little and say, はい、山下先生の専攻は日本の歴史でした. If you wanted to be more specific. Because if he wasn't just studying history as a whole, he was specifically studying Japanese history. So
That's
Nihon-
right, that's right.
that was what you were trying to do, yeah. 日本の歴史でしたね. Any questions about how those work? Okay. My experience has been that the guessing game activities don't really work that great for class activities, so I usually skip these two unless anybody really has a burning desire to do them. Okay. Yeah, I have found that they just don't go over well. So, let's go ahead to the next segment then. And what we're gonna do is spend some time with the equivalent chart, but with verbs. So I did just the one chart for the verbs. Let's do for the des rather, let's do a similar one for a sample verb, okay? What verb do you want me to use as a sample? So we're gonna do present and past.
which
We're
is
gonna do positive and negative. What verb do you want me to use as a sample verb here?
青
Oh, I must, okay. So the present positive of ao is a dictionary form, so we'll just put that aside at the top. Okay, so ao, present positive is,
I can't write A.
what? Okay.
会います
Yeah, exactly. Aimas, okay. Present negative is aimasen, there you go. Okay, aimasen, Okay, everybody's clear on those two, right? Those are the review ones. Now this lesson, they're also teaching us past tense positive, which is aimashita, remember? Aimashita. And then past negative is aimasen.
Past.
What do you add to make it past tense? Aimasen
Deshita.
deshita, there you go. That's what we needed. Aimasen deshita. Okay, so is everybody clear on those four? Aimasu, aimasen, aimashita, aimasen deshita. Hi.
It's not okay. How do I write A? I'm having a hardest problem like ever
Okay.
since the beginning.
Horizontal,
Yep.
down with a curve.
Okay.
Then start about here,
Okay.
curve around.
It looks like a fish.
Okay. So, aimasu, aimasen, aimashita, aimasen deshita. And if you've got any u verb, it follows the same pattern, right? The u changes to an e of the same consonant, right? So if it's kau, kaimasu, kaimasen, kaimashita, kaimasen deshita. If it's kaku, kakimasu, kakimasen, kakimashita, kakimasen deshita, right? If it's a ru verb, you drop the ru and add these same suffixes, right? So tabemasu, taberu, for example, tabemasu, tabemasen, tabemashita, tabemasen deshita. Everybody remembers that, right? Okay. So, and then of course the two irregulars, suru changes to shimasu, shimasen, shimashita, shimasen deshita. Kuru changes to kimasu, kimasen, kimashita, kimasen deshita. Right? Is everybody okay with those? Because that's what we're going to be using now. We're going to be using all the verbs. Okay? So what they want you to do for this first exercise is just convert them. So they give you the taberu example, and you're just doing tabemashita, tabemasen deshita. If it's easier, do you guys want to do all four in order? Mas, masen, mashita, masen deshita. Is that easier, or do you want to just do the two past tense ones?
No problem.
I don't know.
Either way? Okay. Some people find it, they get a rhythm going better if they're doing all four. So we can do it that way. It's not bad to practice all of it. So I'm going to let Sveta start with Ichiban, and we're just going to go around the room like we've been doing in order, and I want you to do the conversions for your number, whichever verb you get. So read the dictionary form first, and then do your conjugations. Hanasu, hai. Hanashimasu, hai.
Hanashimasen. Hanashimashita.
Yes.
Hanashimasen deshita.
Deshita, right, hanashimasen deshita. Don't worry about it having a lot of she's in it, that's just the way that word is. Okay? Right, there you go, right? Andre-san?はい、じゃあ、Avery-san?
Kakimasu, kakimasen, kakimashita, and kakimasen deshita.
Okay, please remember to read the dictionary form first, because we want to
Okay.
associate that with all the others. Because you always want to know what your dictionary form is too, both for looking it up in the dictionary purposes, in case you forget what it means, or want to see what the kanji for it is, and also just because that dictionary form ends up being something you use to help yourself get to other conjugations that we'll learn later. So knowing kaku kakimasu, that pairing becomes really important going forward as we learn other conjugations that jump off of that. And the fact that kaku kakimasu, they're actually a pair in the sense of both meaning the same thing at two different levels of politeness. All of these structures that we're learning, there's a casual version of all of them. And the casual version of aimasu is au. The casual version of kakimasu is kaku. Okay, and then there are different versions for the other four in the other three places in this chart. So, you know, if you're taking aimasu, au is casual for present positive. Awanai is casual present negative. Past positive is atta. Past negative is awanakatta. So you see that the katta comes back again with casual verbs. We're not learning those yet, that's next semester, but that's another reason you need the dictionary form, because it's going to come back again. Okay? So, yeah, let's see.
Wait,
Okay.
we're at 5.
はい、5番、どうぞ。
来る、来ます、来ません、来ました、来ませんでした。
はい、そうですね。じゃあ、竹山さん。
待ちます。
はい
待ちません。待ちました。待ちませんでした。
はい、それじゃあ、ヤクさん。
起きる、起きます、起きません、起きました、起きませんでした。
はい、そうですね。じゃあ、瀬田さん、8番。
わかる。
はい。
わかるま。
わかり。
ります。
Oh, remember, they all convert from u to e with the same consonant for the u verbs. Okay, so wakaru changes to wakarimasu. They all do that.
It's just okay. わかります。
はい。
わかります。せんか、わかりません。
はい。
わかりました。
はい。
わかりませんでした。
はい、そうですね。じゃあ、9番、杉原さん。
する、する。
Sudu is irregular. It changes to shimasu. Just shimasu. Remember? Sudu, shimasu. That's one of the irregulars.
します。しません。しました。
Yes.
しませんでした。
Shimasen deshita. There you go. So you got to remember sudo shimasu as a pairing so that you never forget that irregular. Okay. じゃあ、アンドレアさん。
取ります。取ります。取りました。取りませんでした。
はい、そうですね。じゃあ、どうぞ。
ある、あります、あります。
Yes, あります。
ありません。ありました。ありませんでした。
はい、そうですね。じゃあ、12番。
寝る、
はい。
寝ます、寝ません、寝ました。No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
寝ました。
寝ませんでした。
Perfect. はい。
Sounded wrong.
Just, yeah, until you get used to them, they sound funny. So it's a good idea to practice all the verbs you know in these conjugations until you get used to what they sound like. はい。
聞く。聞きます。聞きません。聞きました。聞きませんでした。
はい、そうですね. And that double key is another one of those places that a lot of people stumble over, like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. It's right. Okay, kikimasu, kikimasen, that's correct. So don't question it just because it happens to double the consonant or something. That's okay. じゃあ、14番。
帰る、
はい
帰ります、
はい
帰りません、
はい
帰りました、帰りませんでした。
はい、そうですね。15番。
飲みます。
はい
飲みません。飲みました。飲みませんでした。
はい、そうですね。Yay, we did it. Okay, any questions about how we conjugate the verbs? So is it making sense? Okay, and just like we did over here for meaning, we can do that for here. So like, aimasu is, English meaning is meet, to meet, right? Okay, so aimasen, to not meet, right? Okay, aimashita would be
Not have
met.
met.
They met, right? Aimasen deshita, did Exactly, did not meet.
Or have
Okay.
not met or something.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah, sometimes. They generally equate these with the simple past and the simple present/future because, there are other ways to get the perfect tenses and things like that, was not meeting and did not, have not met and stuff like that. There are other ways to express some of those, like, finer details. So these are generally translated as the simple ones, if that makes any sense. Okay, so let's start with, okay, so I'm gonna have you read the example sentence on B.
さんは
Mary-san.
Oh, yeah.
that's Mary-san?
Yeah, that's Mary-san.
Oh.
That's katakana there.
Oh, that's what I was like, what, that makes no sense. I thought that line was a cutoff.
Yeah, the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they do that sometimes. Mary-san wa
Getsu,
no, getsu,
Tetsuyobi,
oh, getsu yobi ni toshokan de
Benkyou,
benkyo shimashita.
hai, shimashita. Benkyou shimashita. So you remember those sentences we did in the previous chapter where we first just had, like, toshokan de benkyou shimasu, and then getsuyobi ni toshokan de benkyou shimasu. You remember all those where we built up gradually? They're taking those same types of sentences where you've got a time or day at which someone is doing something, a location, and the verb, right? Those three elements. And they're turning it into a past tense instead of the other ones where they were just talking about habit, that, Mary reads books in the library at 4 o'clock or whatever, right? And now they're talking about in the past tense, she studied, past tense, at the library on Monday, right? So we assume we're talking about this past Monday, right? Does that make sense? So that's the kind of examples they're giving us. So, Sierra-san, I'm gonna let you do number 1.
Mary-san wa
Yeah, Kayobi ni.
her
At home would be iede or uchide, either one. And then what's she doing there? Writing the letter, right? So what's letter? Tegami, direct object, so tegami o, and then wrote. Hai, hakimashita, there you go. See?
I wasn't even trying to figure that one out.
You,
It's because it's the first.
yeah, so
so-
kayobi, so you're using the same pattern of sentence, right? Kayobi ni uchi de, or ie de, tegami o kakimashita. Make sense? So that's gonna be the pattern that we're gonna be using here. Can I erase the desk grid, and I wanna put one sentence like that up as a pattern for you guys to reference. Okay, so we've got Mary-san wa, right? And then what was the next piece? Kayobi ni, right?
Yep.
Kayobi ni, and then what? Iede?
Yeah.
Iede. And then gami.
It's like origami.
Yeah, it's the same gami, paper. Tegami is hand paper, as in you're writing it by hand. Origami is folding paper. Tegami, o. Notice I'm putting the o in the color of the noun that it goes with here. See that? Okay, tegami o. And then kakimashita. I'm putting in red because we ran out of colors. So you've got person doing your action, the time at which it's happening or happened, the location at which it happened, the direct object, and the verb, right? And notice that the only piece of the sentence that has to conjugate to make it past tense is that verb ending, right? The rest of the sentence stays identical, regardless of whether you're talking past tense, future tense, present tense. You see that? If we were talking about next Tuesday instead of previous Tuesday, all you would have to change would be kakimasu instead of kakimashita, right? If you wanted to say that she did not write the letter on Tuesday, all you would have to do is change kakimashita to kakimasen deshita, right? Okay, so Andrea-san, 2番, try that one.
メアリーさんは木曜日に
Wednesday, 水曜日に、はい。
学校でテニスをしました。
はい、そうですね。Also note that I'm incorporating kanji into my sentence. I'm going to expect you guys to do the same. So like on the final exam, if there's a day of the week in your sentence, you're going to write that part in kanji. If there's a time, clock time in your sentence, you're going to write that part in kanji. If there's anything that we've studied the kanji for, that's part of that sentence, my expectation is that you'll write it in kanji. So if there's a sentence with like, hon o yomimashita, put hon in kanji. Mizu o nomimashita, put mizu in kanji. You know, if it's, you know, tsukue no ue desu, it's on the desk, put ue in kanji. Make sense? Okay, じゃあ、Avery さん、どうぞ。3番ですね。
メリーさんは木曜日にいつだったんだ日本人の友達に会いました。
はい、いいですね。日本人の友達に会いました。That works great. Did anyone have a different thought for the verb there? Because it looks to me like they're also talking. So besides meeting, which is definitely a good verb to use there, you could have chosen talked with.
I feel like Takeshi could have been
Is that the same?
waiting.
Okay, yeah, so, but the sentences are supposedly about Mary, what she did last week. So, Mary-san wa Nihonjin no tomodachi ni aimashita is good. Takeshi-san ni aimashita would be another option. Takeshi-san to hanashimashita would also be an option. Notice that when you're talking, you talk with someone, usually. Not at them, right? Yeah. It doesn't feel as good to be talked at. It's just be talked with, right? So, tomodachi to hanashimashita. You could use that one also. So, Nihonjin no tomodachi to hanashimashita.
Talk
Yeah.
at you.
Yeah. So, you use ni for aimashita. You met a person. But you use to hanashimashita to say that you talked with a person. Make sense? Okay. じゃあ、テナンさん、4番ですね。
メリーさんは金曜日に友達の家でご飯を食べました。
はい、そうですね。いいですか? Everybody good on that? And if you decide decided you wanted to put a particular time of day on that, you could have put, you know, hiru gohan or whatever, ban gohan, whatever you wanted, or you could just leave it as gohan, that's fine too. Tatiana-san, gohan?
はい、メリーさんは土曜日に京都で映画を見ました。
はい、映画を見ました。There you go. はい、じゃあ、ジャックさん、6番。
メリーさんは日曜日にデパートで買いました。
デパートで、do you know another form we could use here for what she
I'm
did?
guessing you should say 買い物をしました
Yes, 買い物をしました。Usually.
Do shopping.
Yeah, she did the shopping. 買い物をしました. She did shopping. 買いました works, but it usually takes an object. So if you don't know what's in her bags, it's awkward to give that one a direct object. Or you could have said, デパートでお土産を買いました. That's a vocabulary word we've got that works as a direct object. That's 買いました. So you could put that one in there. お土産を買いました. She bought souvenirs. Because, I mean, we don't know what's in those bags. They could be souvenirs, right? She could be buying stuff to bring home to all her family and friends that want souvenirs from her trip to Japan, right?
It says sale.
Well,
She
she
bought
could
'em
have
on
bought them on sale. Yeah. Japanese depato are expensive, so she'd be smart to go when there's a sale.
It says sale in English, so it's targeting
Western
American.
right. Although you will often see seiru in katakana. That's very common. Okay, let's look at pato C. Okay, so now we're gonna look at the pictures that were in B, and we're gonna ask and answer questions about, did she do X? Yes, she did. Or did she do Y? No, she did not. Okay? So, we're gonna let Seta-san and Sierra-san read the little example.
メリさんは、土曜日に
That's not Toyobi.
月曜日に、図書館で、勉強しました。
勉強しましたか?
はい、勉強しました。
はい、勉強しました. Okay, let's let Sierra-san and Andrea-san do the next example there. Second example.
メリーさんは月曜日に映画を
見ました
見ました
か?
いいえ、見ませんでした。
はい, so same deal as what we were doing with deshita and janakatta desu, right? Now we're doing it with verbs like mimashita and mimasen deshita, right? So, Andrea-san to Eri-san, 一番どうぞ.
メリーさんは火曜日に音楽を聴きましたか?
いいえ、聞きませんでした。
はい、いいですね。じゃあ2番どうぞ.
メリーさんは水曜日に手紙を
手紙
を書きましたか?
いいえ、書きませんでした。
はい、いいですね。
メリーさんは木曜日に日本人の友達に会いましたか?
はい、会いました。
はい、そうですね。Notice that you can just answer with はい or いえ and the verb in the correct conjugation. はい、じゃあタティアナさんどうぞ.
メリーさんは金曜日にお寺に行きましたか?
はい。
はい。
お寺に行きましたか?
Sorry.
金曜日にお寺に行きましたか?
She might have always done that.
It's お寺。
お寺 is temple, like Buddhist temple. So it doesn't say anything about that, so we're assuming it's a no. Okay?
いえ、寺に行きませんでした。
Right, お寺に行きませんでした。Or just 行きませんでした。Either one works. じゃあ、5番どうぞ。
メリーさんは土曜日にランス
テニス。
をテニスをしましたか？
はい、
土曜日にテニスをしましたか？ Which day is 土曜日?
oh, no, that is, isn't that Monday?
No. 土曜日 is Saturday.
She didn't do that, she wanted it.
She did not do it on Saturday. So, いいえ。
Yeah, can I just rephrase it to make it sound, she did it on Wednesday instead?
No, they want you to do the negative.
Oh, yeah,
She,
oh,
what?
she,
Look at the negative. Negative past. So what's it convert to?
shimasen deshita.
There you go. Shimasen deshita. That's what they were looking for in this exercise. Yes, you could reword it to say, no, she did it on Monday instead, but that's not the point of this exercise. They're trying to make you answer with negatives.
Okay.
Okay? どうぞ。6番。
Meri-san wa, Nichiyobi ni
Kaimono.
買い物は
買い物
を
を
した
しましたか？
はいしましたか？
はい、しました。
はいしました。
はい、しました。Okay, any questions about that one? Is that making sense? How to do the
Yeah.
negative answers and all that?
Yeah, I had to go back and look at what she actually did.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
And the
yeah.
day she did them.
Yeah, and it says right there in the direction, pay attention to the pictures in B. And, okay, so let's do D, which is the same kind of deal. Okay, Sierra-san and Andrea-san, can you read the example for us?
メリーさんは月曜日
月曜日
に何をしましたか？図書館で勉強しました。
Ah, so here we have nani o shimashita ka, and then the blank de blank shimashita. So benkyou shimashita doesn't require a direct object every time. You know, it's not showing us what she studied, just that she studied. But if you've got a direct object, that's going to take the place of the nani in your reply. Okay, and if you want to insert the location, that can come right before that place. Does that make sense? So basically, if you look at this structure, kinyobi ni or kayobi ni or whichever day ni, nani o shimashita ka is taking the whole place of this part. Okay? Nani o shimashita ka is taking the place of this entire segment of the sentence. Does that make sense? And so when you're answering, the nani by itself can incorporate the location at which you're doing something and the object, and then you can replace shimashita with whichever verb is relevant to that action. So if your action on that day was that you ate a meal, you would not say gohan o shimashita. You did not do the meal. You ate the meal. So you would change it to gohan o tabemashita. Does that make sense? Sure, you're looking like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense yet.
It's a
Kind of,
little
sort of?
confusing. Yeah.
So the nani o. That phrase is the direct equivalent of this piece, but they're letting you also add in that because it makes sense. You know, if somebody asks you, hey, what'd you do on Monday? You might just say, oh, I studied, or you might say, I studied at the library, right? You might say, I ate a meal, but you'd more likely say, I ate a meal at my friend's house, right? Leaving out the at my friend's house part kind of leaves out some important information that your friend might want to know, right? What'd you do on Monday? Oh, I ate dinner at Mary's house. That gives your friend a lot more information than just, I ate a meal, right? So that's why you can incorporate more information like that. Okay, so let's let whoever's turn it is ask the next question.
メアリーさんは水曜日に何をしましたか？
学でテニスをしました。
はい、学校でテニスをしました。じゃあ2番どうぞ。
メリーさんは火曜日に何をしましたか？
手紙を書きました。
はい、and if you wanted to add in where she did
うち
that,
で
うちで手紙を書きました。Notice that it sounds more natural to put the location first before the direct object. Most of the time, direct objects go closest to the verb. Makes sense, right? If you really wanted to put extra emphasis for some reason on the fact that she did it at home, you could actually say 手紙をうちで書きました。If, for example, she normally does her letter writing at the library, but for some reason she did it at home this time and you wanted to emphasize that for some reason, shifting the word order like that does that emphasis. Okay, whatever's closest to the verb tends to be considered to be most important in relation to the verb. And normally that's going to be the direct object. So, うちで手紙を書きました。じゃあ、どうぞ。
メアリーさんはいつ映画を見ましたか？
Another quick question for this
はい。
one. I know they're asking when and Saturday. Do I need to say that she watched the movie on Saturday, or can I say 土曜日に見ました?
You could do 土曜日に見ました. That works.
Okay.
Yeah, いつ映画を見ましたか? Because it's いつ and the 映画 is already stated. In your answer, you could say 土曜日に見ました because the 映画 part is already understood from the question. So just like in English, you can ask somebody, hey, when did you watch the movie? And you might just tell your friend, I watched it on Saturday, right? You don't necessarily repeat back the whole thing. Okay, let's finish this exercise before we go.
メリーさんはいつ買い物をしましたか?
Oh, sorry. 日曜日に買い物をします。
しました。
しました。
はい、日曜日に買い物をしました。or 日曜日にしました。You can do it either way. Okay? じゃあ5番。
メリーさんは金曜日にどこで晩ご飯を食べましたか?
はい。どこで晩ご飯を食べましたか? So since the question is どこで, that's the most relevant piece that has to get in the answer with the verb. Yeah, so どこ is asking where. Where did she eat dinner? So at friend's house would be はい友達の家
Why no?
friend's house.
Oh.
Yeah, so 友達の家で
友達の家
で食べました。
食べました.
Okay, so because the question was どこで and then the rest of the information was given, どこで晩ご飯を食べましたか? Where did she eat dinner? The most important part of your answer is gonna be the part that goes with de, right? Tomodachi no ie de, and then you need a verb to complete it, tabemashita, because in Japanese, it's not a complete sentence without a verb.
Okay.
Okay, let's finish the last sentence in this exercise real quick.
Mary-san wa mokyobi ni
Doko de tomodachi
tomodachi ni o aimashita
ka.
aimashita.
So, mokyobi ni doko de tomodachi ni aimashita ka. So we've got the day and we've got the action. We're missing where, right? Doko is where. So your answer is gonna be at the coffee shop, right? So,
That's Kisaten?
right, kisaten de, yeah, tomodachi, tomodachi ni aimashita. Okay, so if you choose to put in that other element, like tomodachi, you have to put the particle ni with it. If you choose to leave that out, you can leave out the whole chunk. Okay, so you can just say kisaten de aimashita. That's the important information that is required there. But if you want to put tomodachi in there, you have to put the ni with it. Make sense? Okay, so for homework, try to come up with some sample questions and answers for E, where you're actually practicing asking and answering random questions. You could just do it about your own life. You know, what did you do on Monday? I did blah, blah, blah. Okay, and move on to section 5 and 6, because hopefully we'll get to those next class. Okay? Good job, everybody. Okay.
Sorry.
And you'll notice that they're incorporating a lot more kanji now, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they're giving you the furigana, but it's in tiny print.
And that's why I was like,
Yeah. So for the things that we've studied the kanji for, if you know the kanji, you don't have to worry about the furigana.
I
You can
know.
just read the kanji.
that's why I'm actually looking forward to Thanksgiving, because I can actually just study
Yeah.
and not worry about all my other classwork, because I don't have any other classwork besides this that I
Okay.
really care about.